Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Bad Guy Ibra. I'm your favorite Gambian, and let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, let's go. Let's get it. Let's smash it. Let's absolutely smash it. Ladies and gentlemen, anyways, let's hop into this video. And honestly, I'm really disappointed, incredibly disappointed, honestly. And the reason why is the fact that there's a fight that we've all been waiting for, like the fight that we've all anticipated for such a long time. And the fight seemed to never materialize, and to this day, it has not materialized. And now that one of the particular fighters has moved to a different promotion, it seems like the fight is not going to happen again, right? And this is a fight between the current heavyweight champion of the world in the UFC in Johnny Bones Jones and the former heavyweight champion in Francis Ngannou who relinquished his belt by leaving the UFC and moving to a different promotion, PFL. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is something that we've all waited for such a long time. Francis Ngannou with a devastating knockout power, like most of his fights in the UFC, at least a 90% knockout ratio in the UFC versus Johnny Bones Jones, one of the most dominant fighters to ever grace the octagon, or arguably one of the greatest mixed martial arts fighters of all time. And you know, the fight that we've all been anticipating, expecting, and it's not happening anymore. At least that's my perspective. The likelihood of that fight happening is very slim. And obviously, it's obvious, right? Francis Ngannou has left the UFC, and John Jones has signed a long-term contract with the UFC. So how is that fight gonna happen? Because you can't expect PFL, the promotion, to come together with the UFC to make that fight. That's not gonna happen. It's not like boxing, where you might have Top Rank come with matchroom boxing together to make a fight. Where one fighter from Top Rank, for example, Tyson Fury, might face Anthony Joshua for matchroom boxing. That happens in boxing, but that's never going to happen in MMA. Two promotions can't come together to make a fight. It just doesn't work. So Francis Ngannou leaving the UFC, and his chances of ever coming back to the UFC is very slim, probably impossible. And Johnny Bones Jones, who's signed a long-term contract with the UFC and is currently the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion of the world, just makes this fight less likely to happen. And I'm so disappointed, honestly. It's crazy. But I'm just gonna give my prediction if this fight was to ever materialize. That's the whole point of this video. And you know, there's been a lot of John Jones meat riders, right? Honestly, like mostly an American audience who've been like a John Jones meat rider for a long time. Everything that he does, oh, John Jones is gonna beat everybody, right? Yeah, he came out after being away for like almost 3 years, right? Came back to the octagon and dominated Cyril Gane in the first round, like choked him out, crazy, right? Do you know what I mean? But honestly, like I think Francis Ngannou is on a different level, to be honest. John Jones' previous fight against Reyes and like the likes of Thiago Santos, if the amount of punches that he took from those lot, he takes the same amount of punches from Francis Ngannou, it's gonna be a quick night for him. To be honest, he's gonna be knocked out unconscious. That's the thing. But like when I go on social media anytime, it's always so Jones is gonna beat Ngannou, Jones is gonna beat him, Jones is gonna beat him with no real justification to why. Why is he gonna beat him? What's his track record in the past 5, 6 years of finishing people? It's almost non-existent. Yeah, when he was 23, 24, 25, he was totally dominant, just destroying anybody in his path. But later on in his career, his ability to be able to finish fights went down a lot. So he won't finish in as much fights as he was doing when he was a little bit younger. And most of his fights were going to like split decisions or unanimous decisions. And trying to compare Jones to someone like Francis Ngannou, who's literally got a 95% finish rate in the UFC, is crazy. You can't compare Jones to Ngannou. Today, Ngannou's much of a better fighter than John Jones in the octagon. Like, if these two step in the octagon, honestly, Jones, I don't believe that Jones stand a chance, honestly, unless he wrestles and takes him down and submits him. If he could do that, amazing. But that's only if he can come close to Francis Ngannou with that devastating left hook or uppercuts and all of that. He's powerful. Like, you cannot take a punch. You can't afford to take a punch from Francis Ngannou. You can't afford to take a punch from him. And John Jones has taken a lot of punches. He's been hit hard by the likes of Reyes, Santos, Anthony Smith, and all of that. And they're not as powerful as Francis Ngannou. You can ask Stipe Miocic, for example. He would tell you a fact that he's been unconscious after fighting Francis Ngannou. Many fighters have been unconscious after fighting Francis Ngannou. The likes of Junior Dos Santos, for example. Cain Velasquez got TKO'd as well. A lot of these fighters suffered as a result of fighting Ngannou. And John Jones coming in thinking that he's going to dominate someone like Ngannou, I don't think he wants that smoke. Honestly, I'm not trying to be biased. I'm just trying to be directly honest to you lot. Like, he doesn't stand a chance. Yes, he might wrestle, blah, 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 blah. But like, Francis Ngannou is physically bigger. And if you've seen them both stood next to one another, did you notice there was a height difference? There's a huge size difference, and it was in favor of Francis Ngannou. And Francis's takedown defense has improved a lot. We've seen it in his fight against Stipe Miocic, right? When Miocic tried to take him down and realized that he couldn't take him down. And Francis was actually trying to take Miocic down. But if you contrast that fight to their first fight, where Miocic took Francis Ngannou down when he wanted, just completely dominated him, but still couldn't finish him. It just shows his grit and toughness. And once he improved his wrestling, which he did in his second fight against Miocic, he knocked Miocic out cold and then went and defended the title against Cyril Gane. You know, the guy's a top G. And when I look at people in social media, always like comment, everyone is meat riding John Jones, saying, oh, Jones is going to beat him, Jones is going to beat him. It's not going to happen. Yes, now we probably might not see the fights because obviously PFL, Francis Ngannou has moved to PFL because of the issues that he had with Dana White. And Johnny Bones Jones is the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion of the world. So we might not see that fight ever happen because of like the fact that UFC sticks with its fighters and makes matches on its own without needing to collide with another promotion to be able to make a fight happen. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just saying, if that fight was to ever transpire, I just believe that Francis Ngannou would knock John Jones out cold. I just believe that 100%, honestly, unequivocally, 100%. John Jones is going to sleep, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm just saying, that fight, probably, high probability, it's never going to happen nowadays. Unless one day Francis Ngannou comes out, or Dana White comes out, there's a contract that is signed, there's a discussion, and all of that happens, and forgiveness, and we all move on, and then accept if Francis Ngannou resigns for the UFC and fights for his belt that he has not lost, by the way, against John Jones, then we'll see what's going to happen. But my prediction is if that day was to ever come, I believe that Francis Ngannou is going to knock out John Jones. Absolutely. Like, no escaping Ngannou. He's got that devastating power. He's got a genetic advantage. He's just fucking massive. Jones doesn't stand a chance against Francis Ngannou. Physically doesn't stand a chance. Striking-wise, it doesn't stand a chance. And if he's trying to wrestle Ngannou, well, guess what? Ngannou's wrestling takedown defense has improved a lot. And if Miocic can't take him down, what makes you think that Jones can take him down? So, don't even bother about that, to be honest. And his knockout ratio is crazy. At least 95% knockout ratio. And knocking out the likes of former world heavyweight champion like Junior Dos Santos, or the likes of Cain Velasquez, for example. Jairzinho Rosenstruck, an amazing fighter. Francis Ngannou put him down like within 2 rounds. It's crazy, honestly. You can't compare that to anything. He's the most devastating fighter we've ever seen in UFC history. The most devastating fighter, the most devastating knockout artist. And to just assume that John Jones is just going to beat him out of nowhere is just absolutely ridiculous. It's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen.